The time of the day has to be just right. The amount of sunshine has to be just right. The location of the sun in the sky has to be just right. Choosing the right time of day can dramatically impact your photos. Getting the right balance between highlight and shadow is essential too, because too much sunlight can be harsh and distorting, and too much shadow can wash out colors and look boring. I like using partial sun whenever possible, particularly when it's moving in and out of the clouds. I find that it produces the most beautiful and desirable effects. But many times I just don't have the luxury of waiting for the perfect light. Nevertheless, I wait and I try to be patient because it has to be just right. I am often so amazed by the beautiful array of colors outside. Time and time again, I'm reminded of the beauty of the natural world and how meager my attempts are to reproduce or copy its beauty through the jewelry pieces that I make. Nothing compares to the beauty of nature and its colors. Trees are not all one shade of green. Clouds are not all white. What our eyes see is a result of wavelengths of light that are within the visible light spectrum. I'm not pretending I understand it completely because I don't. All I know is that colors look different outside during certain times of the day, and nothing can beat photographing in natural light. We spend so much money on expensive equipment such as light boxes and studio lights when we can use a natural resource such as sunlight.
Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Boy, is it hot. I am so hot today. It's hot and humid, but you know what? I love it. I don't want summer to end. I really don't. But at the same time, I am kind of looking forward to the colors of the fall. You know, fall is one of my favorite seasons for jewelry. I love to make fall pieces because I get to use beautiful earth-colored gemstones, and I love that. So I am looking forward to that, I will say, and I guess it'd be nice to have cooler temperatures as well. But winter, not so much. I'm not a winter person. So I wanted to make a quick video today to talk to you a little bit about my photography. Some of you have asked me, those of you who follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I do post a lot of my pieces on those two platforms, and you know, I don't use anything special because I don't want to spend money on an expensive camera or time or energy learning how to use it. So I basically use my phone. That's all I use. And you know, I work with the sunlight. I like to photograph outside, I will say that, because I find that using light boxes just don't work for me. They're never strong enough. And I like to use different colored backgrounds. I don't necessarily like to use white or whatever comes with a light box. Sometimes it comes with backdrops in different colors. I like to use more natural items like driftwood and tiles and that kind of thing. So I use my iPhone, and I have an iPhone 10, and I was using my iPhone back when I had a 6 and a 4. So you know, I find the quality of the iPhone is good enough for what I need to do, because I end up compressing the image anyway, because when you're using it on, say for instance, a website or social media, you don't want large files. So I like to use my iPhone because it compresses it for me, and I actually edit a lot of my photos right on my iPhone. Now, back when I first opened my Etsy store, I used to think that photographing outside would distort the colors. Well, I was wrong. Okay, I did start photographing outside, but I used to do it when it was cloudy. And what I found out is that cloudy skies actually wash out the colors of your jewelry, believe it or not. So Sometime earlier last year, I guess, I discovered that photographing in partial sunlight was the best option because full sunlight distorts the colors as well, so you don't want to do that. So it has to be just right, and I wait for days where there are some clouds, and I definitely like to work with shadows, and not necessarily on the items that I'm photographing, but the shadows that are cast by the plants and the trees. I just find that it adds a lot of interest to my compositions, and it just makes the piece, it beautifies the piece, I think. But you don't want to go overboard. You don't want it to be too busy. You want it to be just right, okay? So just a few items, like leaves or twigs or flowers, is all you need to make a piece interesting.
A lot of it depends on the theme. If it's an ocean theme, I use shells or sand or other items that give the viewer the sensation of being at the beach. If it's something else, if it's a fall theme, then I go into my garden and I look for leaves or twigs or rocks. I look for items that have fall colors such as reds, burgundies, browns. I like to use this piece of driftwood because it's such an interesting piece of wood and has so much detail and texture. And it goes with pretty much everything, whether it's an ocean theme, summer theme, spring, or fall. When it's spring, I add fresh flowers if I can.
Now, if you do a search on the internet or YouTube about how to photograph your jewelry, you're going to see a lot of tips about photographing with white backgrounds. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think it's okay, but for me, I don't like that. I like to have something else in my background, something that's interesting, something textured, something that has a little bit of color in it. I don't like just plain white. To me, it's a little bit too stark. I don't want to say boring, because you can arrange, your composition however you want to make it look interesting, but definitely stark, okay? And so that's just me personally. I'm not saying it's wrong or it's the wrong way to do it. I'm just saying that for me personally, that's not what I like to do. Who is this guy? Is he a god? I really don't know. He's been under my pergola for years. I don't even remember where I got him from, but he's not even on there straight. He's a little crooked. I don't know what he reminds me of. So anyway, like I said, I do use my iPhone to edit my photos. So the editing feature actually comes within the operating system of Apple. I'm not sure what Android has, but I'm sure they have something similar. And I do go in there and I adjust the vibrancy, the contrast, the brightness. Sometimes I'll adjust the exposure if it needs it, but I don't do too much of that because then it's overkill. So I do a little bit of it depending on what kind of sunlight I get. But I also use an app I think it's by Adobe. It's called Photoshop Fix. And I love using that for cropping the photo. Say I want a square aspect ratio or some other ratio. I go in there and I change the ratio using that app. Sometimes I'll add special effects if I'm posting on Instagram or whatever. But one of the things I like to do is to add backgrounds or borders to my photos. If you follow me on social media, you will have seen some of those borders. A lot of times I use photos that I've taken of my flowers, but there are times when I go into a website called Pixabay where they have copyright-free photos, and I will download scenic photos like beach scenes or mountain scenes or forest scenes. It's important that if you're going to do that, that you use photos that are copyright-free or royalty-free. Speaking of copyright, the lady who took my photo deleted some of the comments, or not the comments, but the thank yous, where she was accepting the thank yous from people on Facebook on that group. She went in there and deleted those thank yous, and but the post is still there and people are still liking the photo that she posted as her own. So that's a little disappointing, but that's okay. I've gotten over it. I'm not going to let that upset me anymore. I'm beyond that. That's water under the bridge now. Now here's a very trendy and interesting way to photograph your pieces. I'm on my front porch right now, guys. That's where I am. But look how trendy that looks. This is that backdrop that you see a lot in photography these days. You see it a lot on Etsy. People are using these kinds of backdrops often. You don't need to go to your home improvement store and purchase any piece of wood. Just go to your front porch or use your deck, and you've got a cheap and free backdrop for your photos. Here's another example where I've laid down the necklace on top of this bench, this garden bench, as you can see. And it's in shadows, so I'm not too happy about it, but you can still see a lot of detail. And the colors are pretty nice. So yeah, just use your imagination, guys, and look for possibilities for backdrops and props. Use your imagination. You don't have to spend money. Just go out into your garden and look for ideas for photography. Now here's a really cool prop that I want to use. This was actually wired onto my fence a while ago, and I took it off, but look how beautiful this prop is. It's a wrought iron ornamental piece. So anyway, guys, that's about it. I am working on a project that I'll be telling you about real soon via a YouTube video. It's a project for a memory wire bracelet, and I'm going to let you know about it real soon. I'm very excited about it. And I'm going to continue to make videos for you. It would be nice if you could leave some comments about the type of content you want to see. I never know what pleases you and what displeases you, but I just like it that you guys are here watching me now, and I really appreciate it. And believe me, I thank every single one of you who have subscribed. And if you haven't done it, please think about doing it so you can get notifications when I release videos. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.